how to cut them and the differences between them. And what was that sound? There was a sound. Okay. We're going to go over all of that. This is much easier than many people think it is. Okay. And I'm going to say that because everybody seems to think like there has to always be like this big process about cutting cords, right? And it gets very discouraging when we try to do that because we're like, well, do I have that much energy to cut these cords? It's really not that difficult. It's not. So first thing we're going to do is talk about the difference between a karmatic bond and an energetic cord. Okay. Because I see a lot of people, like those people doing all that, you know, the TikTok spell work where they're cutting the cords, right? That is a karmatic bond. The energetic cords are the ones when you like go into Walmart and you talk to somebody, you might get a cord attached to you. When you're doing readings, you might get a cord attached to you. Friends, you know, stuff like that. Those are, oh my God, I have to throw my phone, guys, because my Snapchat is blowing up. And it actually lights up when I do it. So there's a difference between the karmatic bonds and the energetic cords. Okay. The energetic cords are very, very easy to remove. Especially for everybody in here who's super empathic. Like you guys are all really empathic, right? And we're all starting to do readings and healings and all of this. That is where you're going to come into the energetic cord problem because they're very easy cords, but the cord legitimately attaches to you and it's mostly negative emotion. Okay. It makes it easier for you to feel their energy. It makes it easier for you to read them. It makes energy vampires, like that's how they connect to you, those energy vamps, how like you just feel super drained, especially like, I don't know about you guys, but when you guys go to Walmart or a busy store or like a social outing, do you guys get really, really drained after? Am I talking to myself? Anybody?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You guys.
Yeah, me too.
You guys can unmute. Amber, you don't have to talk. Like, you guys can unmute yourself. Just the other day, it was just like a lot of background noise. So, like, I don't mind if you guys stay unmuted, whatever. Just make sure, like, there's not a ton of background noise because I know I do have other people in here who have ADHD and stuff. And sometimes with the background noise, it just makes it harder to focus. Okay. So when you guys go to those outings and you're doing all these readings and all that kind of stuff, you're going to start to get very drained. And it's due to the fact that it's just the energetic cords on you. Okay. Those cords are just negative emotion. 98% of the time, it is just negative emotion. And I always seem to think with those cords, negative feelings are the easiest feelings to feel. Rage, sadness, anger, depression, those are all very easy to feel because the energy is so focused on that, right? When we're happy, our energy isn't like pulsating. When we're content, our energy isn't pulsating. So with the anger and the rage and that, like your energy starts to pulsate. It's all vibrations, right? So when we have those energetic cords attached to us, that's normally what we feel. We feel their sadness. We feel their depression because that pulsates higher. And again, it goes back to like manifesting and all that kind of stuff. We have to watch what we feel and what we think and those emotions, because if we're sitting there thinking negatively, that's what's going to come to us because those pulse so quickly. That feeling of desperation vibrates so much higher. And I don't know why it vibrates at a much higher level than like happiness and contentment. But it does for some ungodly reason. So the energetic cords, they just take from you. They just take. Because especially if like you're doing a lot of readings, when you're doing readings, a lot of the time people aren't in a great place. They're coming to you for guidance. They're coming to you for help. That feeling of desperation is going to be there. That sadness is going to be there. That feeling of confusion is going to be there. Those energy vamps just are going to attach to you. Okay. These cords are very, very easy to remove. Okay. Some of them might be a little bit more difficult to remove than others, but 98% of the time, I don't get them like when I see them, I don't see them like going into your body unless you haven't cleared them a lot. I normally see them within the aura, right? But if you haven't cleared them and you're doing readings and you're going out and you're doing this and you're doing that, right? They do tend to like come in and like attach to like not even like a chakra. It's really, really weird. So I'll see them like in the in between, or like I'll see them wrapped around the throat, or I'll see them wrapped around the area, but never really in. Now, I have seen some that actually go in. And now we talked about when we were doing like spiritual protection and stuff, the anchors, right? So if you're really feeling drained, it's most likely because you have the energetic cords anchored in you. Okay. So there's a few different ways we could do this. One, talk to your guides, talk to your deities. Hold on. And I'm going to write this down, guys, because obviously, you know, I got here unprepared and I normally just channel class. So here we are. Okay. First thing you do, or you're going to talk to your spirit team. Okay. Sit down, ask them. And I want you guys to feel when you're doing this. Okay. Because like a lot of the times, I know for myself, I have a really hard time distinguishing if there's cords on me, or even doing Reiki and stuff on myself. Like I could do Reiki for absolutely everybody else but myself. Okay. But I have found some certain things that do work for me. All right. So normally if I sit down, I talk to my spirit team and I ask them, hey, is there any cords on me? They will normally give me some kind of something if like I'm doing my daily communication or whatnot. Like if I really need to get deep down and figure out what's going on with my energetic fields, I do normally use like these. Oh, and I forgot to grab the other cards. I also have like a 7-card chakra set from Jen and Crystal Guidance. I'm going to post it for you guys. And I use my pendulum and I kind of ask them and I'm like, okay, are they in my aura? Is it attached here? Is it attached here? Is it attached here? And I kind of ask them where it's attached, right? And then from there, normally I do this 2 ways. Or actually 3 ways. Sorry, guys. My phone is like, my laptop is like loading finally, and everything is like popping up, like all my duo stuff and everything. So yeah. So if it's like skipping, that's why. So I do this, actually, I want to say I do it a couple ways. And these are things that I have either learned from somebody else or I kind of came up with on my own. It depends on the situation. Oh my God. Guys, I'm so sorry. Like, I don't know why my laptop is bugging out right now. Okay. And like, I can't even see anything. Can you guys hear me? Because like everything is like popping up really quickly.
I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Okay. So it depends on the situation for me. It depends on where I am energetically. It depends on how much energy I have. It depends on what my guides want me to do, what my deities want me to do, like all of that. It's still popping up because me and Ben talk on duo for like John. So like all the calls and everything are just like, okay, so talk to your team, ask them, and then also assess where you are energetically. Do you have the energy to go in and remove these yourself? Or are you going to need help? Okay. Because sometimes when we are that drained, and sometimes when like all the energy is being taken from us, right? We just don't have the energy to go in and fix it ourselves. So here is what I do for the energetic bonds, because the karmatic bonds are much more different. If you feel as though they are anchored, right? Do the same thing. I want you guys to like bend the anchor, tug them out, And then you can either just like wrap it around the person, like I told you guys to do with spirit, and toss it, or you can legitimately like envision you having a sword, knife, whatever, and you could just cut that bitch, right? But make sure when you're done, if it was anchored, that you toss it. You cannot hold on to it. And then what I want you guys to do is I want you to go in and just picture yourself filling up the hole wherever it is. Now, if it is just on your aura, what I do is I legitimately, like, I will envision me taking like a little broom or something, and I am going to sweep all those little bastards off and then kind of like shield myself with white light. All right. You can also call in Archangel Michael and ask him to cut the cords. You can also call in your spirit team and ask them to cut the cords. Also, you can ask them like during readings, before readings. Remember, we set our boundaries, we set our expectations, we set this, we set that. You have to be very clear with them. So you can ask them like, hey, make sure no cords attached to me. Or when you're done with the reading, ask them to remove the cords. These are very, very easy things to remove. And everybody does them differently, but that is the easiest way I handle them, because they're not like super in there. And if you feel as though they're like wrapped around you or anything like that, just take it and in your head, or even like there are days when I legitimately do it. Like I will remove things, like you'll see me just like pull an energy. If you seem like that's a little too much for you, that's fine. You could do it in your head, but sometimes you do need that physical action. One of the biggest things I will say is when you are done, make sure you fill in that space with some kind of white light, blue light, violet light. I don't care what color you want to use, y'all. Fill it in with the light. Make sure it can't reattach, okay? And you can even do it in the shower, you know, ask them to use the water to remove any cords, stuff like that. That is the easiest. Now we're going to talk about karmatic bonds, because y'all, I love karmatic bonds, but they're a bitch to deal with. Okay. A lot of the same things I just taught you can be used. Okay. Karmatic bonds are those we have some sort of soul tie with, those we have sex with, those really deep friendships, those really yucky relationships. And again, a lot of these cords, the karmatic bonds, are legitimately negative emotions, negative feelings, because again, we tend to feel negative emotions more easily, right? Also, these cords can cause a slew of codependency. So even if like, and by the way, if you cut these cords, whether it be the energetic bonds or karmatic bonds, it's not going to harm the person anyway. They're really probably not even going to feel it unless they're not as connected, where they're not feeling your emotions all the time or able to manipulate your emotions and stuff like that. I don't know if that makes sense, but like you're not going to harm them by removing the cord. One of the things I will say is, and we will get more in depth with this with like soulmates and twin flames and stuff like that, just not this round. Okay, guys? Because that's like a whole different level of like crazy. Okay, you could still do it with them, knowing the information that I'm going to give you. Sometimes it's a little bit more difficult. Okay, so the karmatic bonds are those we have some kind of karmic lesson from, some kind of soul connection, soul tie. Those, like when I told you guys with the sex thing, most of the time that actually does put in some kind of karmatic cord, karmatic bond. Those are the type of situations that I'm dealing with. A lot of the time it is family members, really close friends, lovers, ex-partners. So like that's what you have to realize with these, and they will be in your chakras. They will be in multiples. They can wrap around you. A lot of the times what I'll see is like if somebody was in like a really bad abusive relationship, 98% of the time, not only is that karmatic bond stuck to their sacral, but it's also on their, oh, hello. What just happened, guys? Is everybody listening?
Yep.
Okay.
Looks
I
like
don't know.
there's two Jennifers, though.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Hey, Jenny. You on
It
there?
kicked me out, and then I rejoined, and then it just says I don't know.
Whatever. It's fine. Okay, so wait, where was I? So not only will I see them in like the sacral, but I'll also see them in the heart, and I'll also see them in the throat. And a lot of times, especially if it was like something really negative, I'll see it wrapped around, stuff like that. Those are those karmatic bonds. Those are those like really deep rooted relationships that have taken almost everything out of you. Those are the generational curses. Those are those deep things, right? So there is a huge difference between the energetic cords and the karmatic bonds. Okay. And I know like a lot of people that I speak to who do energy work, a lot of them don't realize this. They call them the same things. Like, nah, baby, it ain't the same shit because those karmatic bonds are a bitch. Those karmatic bonds might actually take multiple sessions, spell work, shadow work to break them. I'm going to give you guys an example. And especially ones with parents. Okay. So I wanted to cut the karmatic bond between me and my mother. I wanted to go in and heal that. I wanted to release her. I did not want to keep continuously paying for her mistakes. Okay. And that is the thing. I was really like deep into karmatic bullshit with my mother, constantly dealing with the same things that she dealt with. And I couldn't figure out why. And it was because I was still connected to her. I came from her womb, right? So she was up in my sacral. She was all up like rooted in there, like, you know, the tree of life type of situation. That's what my sacral looked like with my mother. Okay. So what I actually ended up doing, and this is something that I have used ever since, and somebody else, I can't even remember who it was, but somebody else told me. You okay over there? So one of the things is I actually pictured like a faucet, right? And the faucet was connected to my sacral, and the water line was beelining to her, right? And every day for 7 days, I would slowly turn the faucet. So every day I would sit there for a good 5 to 10 minutes and slowly turn the faucet and imagine the water going and slowly turning. And I did this for 7 days until the water was completely gone. There was no cord to cut. She can't turn that faucet back on. That water is now gone and evaporated. So I didn't cut the karmatic bond. I shut that shit off. And then what I did is I went in and I like legitimately sat there and pictured myself picking out all the roots like I was weeding a fucking garden, took it, wrapped it around the faucet, tossed it, and then I did shadow work on it. Then I asked for releasing. Then I did spell work on it. So there is a stage to each kind of karmatic bond. Okay. You guys can come to me if you need help with removing any of the karmatic bonds, because sometimes they just take and like use your imagination too, guys. Okay. So I'm going to be really honest. Karmatic bonds can be very tricky. Yes, you could do spell work for them. Yes, you could do like, you know, the thing that you all saw on TikTok where it's the 2 candles and they tie the string around it and then they burn the 2 candles and it burns. Really unsafe. But if you do that safely, that's fine. When I do it for others, when I do it, like I did one for Billy, what I ended up doing is I actually cut the cord myself, burned the candles, and then any of the herbs or anything that I used plus the string that I used, I then went and burned it. Okay. Why? Because I was not taking any kind of chance on that cord not severing. Okay. You can do that. You can sit there. You could do shadow work. You could do spell work on it. Spell work really does, if you guys are in it, you're in it. And you have to learn to listen to your intuition on how to do it. That's why we are witches, and that's why we do spell work, because it's what works for us. That's why when I said, like, when I did the candles, I cut mine. Not many people cut it, but I wasn't taking a chance. Also, when you're going in and you're trying to remove the karmatic bonds, they will be anchored in some way, shape, or form. Okay. So if you really want to get rid of that, you're going to cut the cord and remove the anchor. You can ask Archangel Michael to come in and help you cut this cord. You can ask your spirit team to come in, just like with the energetic bonds, and have them cut the cord. But when you do, you have to make sure that you wrap it around the person, send that person elsewhere. And then what you need to do is you need to remove the anchor, whether it be rooted in, an anchor in, whatever you guys feel or see in that situation. And you have to be able to pluck it, remove it, wrap it, toss that, right? And then you're going to fill everything back in with love, light, whatever the fuck it is you all want to do. Okay. With the karmatic bonds, I will tell you, there is a lot of shadow work involved with them. Everybody could sit there and be like, hey, I want you to cut this cord. Okay, cool. But if you don't do the work associated with it, it is going to come back. And that is one of the biggest things I will say about karmatic bonds, is that if you do not do the work attached to it, it will come back. Because you need to, if you are ready to actually remove that cord, if you are ready to remove that power that they have over you, you need to be able to do the work to make sure that it doesn't reattach. Okay? You need to make sure that you are able to let go of whatever it was that person was giving to you. Whether it be good or bad, we all know that we stay in situations longer than we should, right? If you're not ready to let that person go, or you're not ready to do the work involved, I would highly suggest on waiting to cut those cords. Because it isn't just go in, fix it, cut it, and everything is fine. No, you're going to be hit with a ton of emotion. You're going to be hit with that feeling of emptiness because you were so used to holding on to that person's energy for a very long time. And I know that sounds crazy, because even though that person might not have been the best, even because we don't cut cords, we don't cut karmatic bonds for like great reasons, right, guys? And I have to say that, because a lot of people, a lot of the time, I need to cut the cord for my ex. Like, yeah, you do, but are you ready for it? Are you ready for that level of discomfort? Are you ready for that level of feeling kind of lost? Are you ready to actually cut that person off? Are you ready to be able to do that? Make sure you address all those things before you go in and do the work. Because if you're going to go in and remove the cord and not handle the rest of it, it's just going to come back. You're going to be right back there, but 10 times worse. Okay? So that's kind of why I wanted to go over the difference between the karmatic bonds and the energetic bonds. Because the karmatic bonds are it's karma, guys. It's karma. It's soul contracts. It's hard to cut those. When I did it for my mom, it took me 7 months to be able to get there and actually get rid of it, because I wasn't ready. When I did it for Billy, it took me 3 to 4 months before he finally, it finally stuck. I did it like 7 times, but I wasn't ready to do the work on it. So you can go in and do it that way. You could do spell work for it. You can ask your guides, but make sure when you do it, you're ready to heal from that situation. Okay? I know that sounds crazy, because like all these witches and everybody's like, oh, I'll just cut these cords and I'll do this and I'll do that. Like, yeah, I could do a cord cutting spell for you and I'm going to take your money, but are you ready to do the work that like is associated with it? And that's why I don't do them as often as I should, because a lot of the times when it's like karmatic bonds and stuff like that, most people aren't ready for that. And sometimes it can send them back to the person that they're trying to relieve themselves from, because that feeling of emptiness, that feeling of loneliness, even if they filled you with just hatred, your energy, your body, your vibrations are used to feeling that. So when it gets removed, if you're not ready to fill that void with that shadow work, with that understanding, and with that healing, you might actually end up going back to them and it being 10 times worse. Okay? So you can use the same things as like the cutting the cords and stuff, but you have to do the work attached to it. Do you guys have any questions?
Currently, no.
No? Okay. So I gave you guys a lot of information there, like a lot. We're going to end class here. what I will do is I'm going to kind of do like a secondary, and we're going to talk about hold on, guys. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to follow this up next week, and we are going to talk about karmatic bonds. What are they? Who are they? We're going to talk about soul ties. We're going to talk about soul contracts. We're going to talk about soulmates and twin flames. Yo, I'm really excited about this class, guys. Oh, we're going to talk about it. This way, when you guys go to start helping other people and you go to start helping yourselves, you're going to know what the difference is. And you're going to learn how to address that situation and be able to come up with a way to fix it. All right, guys? So what I do want you guys to do for homework. Yep, I'm giving you all homework. 1, I want you guys to go ahead and cut any energetic cords. I want you guys to do that once a day for a week until next Sunday, and see how you guys feel. Just see how you feel. See if it actually helps with your energy, if it helps with your mood, if you notice that you're not so up and down, right? Like, I want to see if that like actually helps you guys, because sometimes it's needed every day, especially with everything that's going on. Like, I don't know what the fuck is going on planetary wise, but like everybody else's emotions are fucking me up. That's why I'm kind of on a hiatus. I also want you guys to, after cutting the cords, practice shielding. And now that PDF, shielding and protection and all of that is in the group, okay? So I want you guys to shield and protect every day, and like bubble yourselves, right? And then what I want you guys to do is I want you to write down what karmatic bonds you think you have attached. And why and how. Okay, because I want you guys, when we get out of next week's class and we go over all that, I want you guys to be able to see, is it a soulmate? Is it a twin flame? Is it some kind of soul tie? Is it some kind of soul contract, right? And sometimes they can intermingle, but I want you guys to be able to differentiate the difference. Differentiate, yeah, that works, whatever. Okay, and that's where we're going to go from there. Sound fair?
Yes.
Okay. And okay. We're going to also like work this week on energy protection. Again, the shielding, the cleansing, like all that. I want you guys to focus a lot of your energy on cleansing and reclaiming your own energy, making sure that we're shielding correctly, making sure that we're cutting those energetic bonds when we're done doing work, making sure that we are in control of our energy and our system and our spirit team. Okay? Because if we want to start doing readings and getting back to where we were, these things need to be done so that you guys can have more clear and decisive readings. And so that when you are doing readings and you are doing your healings and you are doing all these things, even just for yourself, you're not going to be as drained. Okay, guys?
Yes.
Okay. I will talk to you guys later. I love you all so very, very much. We are going to do class again next Sunday. I'm also going to try, I cannot make promises, guys. John just went back to school because he's in the summer program. I don't know what days I have what, but I do want to do a daily communication check-in soon. And also, please make sure that you guys start posting on threads. Make sure that you guys start helping other people, because this is also going to get cords attached and we're going to have to remove them. You see where I'm going here? Everything's a process, right? Everything intertwines. And I want us to be able to get a really good grasp on where we are energetically. Okay. I love you guys. I will talk to you guys later. Hold on. I'm going to stop recording because somehow I always end up not stopping. I don't know, guys. No. Guys, this laptop and my little sweaty hands.